Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday.
Welcome to...
Happy Saturday.
Yeah, you sound really happy about it.
Happy Saturday.
There you go. Welcome to episode 12, Look Up List of Death by Southwest.
Stephane
Murphey. How's your Saturday?
It's going pretty well. It's very nice out. It's 72 degrees today versus 2 days ago it was snowing. A fair amount of snow. We got over an inch.
That's insane.
Yeah. Over 24 hours.
I sent a picture to Jason and he was like, is that normal? I was like, no, I can't even remember the last time. It didn't snow last year at all.
The most it typically, at least that I can recall lately, has snowed in the past handful of years is flurries that immediately go away when they hit the ground.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this collected some stuff.
Sure did.
Yeah. It was exciting. I liked it. Yeah, I guess that's the most exciting thing that's really happened right now. Anything else exciting in life?
Eating seaweed. Dried seaweed.
My favorite. Very healthy.
Is it really?
Yeah, I love it.
Oh. I don't know. It's not my favorite, but it's here, so I'll have it.
I love it. Yeah, we're at my house today. I like it. We're always somewhere different recording.
Yeah.
Yet we've almost never recorded in the actual recording studio.
I don't think we have for this podcast.
No, we tried to, but the dogs were super annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is Look Up List 12, as we said, for Stephane Murphey. And, I know what I want to say. I wanted to apologize because the Stephane Murphy episode came out on Tuesday and we release episodes on Monday, and that is my fault. I got, jammed up with a little bit of extra work last weekend and trying to edit and get the bonus episode out, and then the edit and getting the actual episode out, it took me a lot longer than I thought it was going to, and it just wasn't possible. And so sometimes life happens, and we will try to make sure it doesn't ever happen again. It probably will, but I'm going to say for the most part, my goal is to always have the episode out regularly on Mondays. And we had a couple people message us and be like, "What, are you guys okay? Where's the episode?" Which actually was really nice.
I think it's maybe every once in a while we should put it out on Tuesday. They were waiting with bated breath.
That's true. No, we will not do that to you guys. I mean, I love the fact that people are waiting for it. That feels so exciting and wonderful. So I just wanted to actually apologize formally to anyone who was waiting and wondering where it was. The next episode is almost already done being edited. It will absolutely be out this Monday and every episode after that for the foreseeable future. So for this bonus episode, Jenna actually did, the lookup lists are always yours.
My questions. You tend to do the majority of the looking up.
Right. But they're always your questions. But Jenna did the majority of the looking up for this one. So she's going to be steering this ship for us today. I only have one or two things to add. So I'm going to pass the baton over to you and let you take over. I'm excited to act as the listener today.
I think you're over talking this because you're still going to read stuff. It's not the same as like when I know the whole story and you don't, but yes.
It's fine.
So we had asked a question, or I had asked a question about, because there's a lot of terms and words and like DNA that I know in general what they mean, but if you get down to like the nitty gritty, what does it actually mean? And so I think at some point we had talked about, gosh, how do jurors know all the technical language that comes up in a courtroom?
Right.
And so I looked up, are jurors actually educated prior to them sitting on trial? And what I found is that all jurors supposedly who are serving in the United States district courts are provided a handbook, and that can vary. The handbook, I guess, varies state by state, but the purpose of the handbook is to acquaint trial jurors with the general nature and importance of their role as jurors, and it explains some of the language and procedures used in court and offers some suggestions helpful to jurors in performing this important public service. And so I looked at now I'm hearing myself say a lot. The table of contents, and it's a long one. but it has things such as length of service, the compensation, if any, that they'll get, the attire, what disqualifies a juror, the types of cases, the verdict of jurors.
Evidence.
Evidence.
Yeah, that's an important one because that's where I feel like we've stumbled sometimes during these. DNA is obviously the first thing that comes to mind, but even, how long until you file a missing persons report or when you're doing a forensic investigation of a house, what are you looking for? And things like that, I know I'm drawing a blank, but I know we've come across plenty of terms where I'm like, what the fuck does this mean?
Mm. Well, you gave specific examples there, DNA, forensic investigation.
Yeah.
And I think that either falls there, probably both in some cases, under the evidence and then under terms jurors will hear in court.
That's a good one.
And I also liked the last one and this was specific, this table of contents was specific to New Mexico. Mm-hmm. Tips for coping after jury duty. So I thought that was interesting.
What do you think that means?
I don't know, because there could be some residual emotional effects, mental emotional effects on the jurors. If it was a challenging case for them to hear, there's like tough evidence or pieces of evidence visually or.
Yeah. Think about like being a juror in a case like, I'm trying to think like the first example is that show Your Honor on, what is that, HBO? Showtime. And, the like guy who plays the Italian mobster guy, I can't think of his name, is wanted. Am I saying this right or wrong? Am I remembering this correctly? Like he's wanting. They like. Let me start over here.
Okay.
When it's a serious case, let's say, and a powerful person might be involved, and they want to sway. You hear about that in movies. I don't know if that actually happens in real life, but they want to sway the jury. They want to buy off jurors to change their vote, or they threaten them to change their vote is not the right fucking word.
Well, it's the right word for this case, for this scenario that we're talking about. And also, I think those are two separate things. Of course, any lawyer or person on the defendant side wants to sway the juror to not guilty, but paying them off is a whole nother level.
Right. They're trying to sway them in the courtroom, but I mean outside that. Jury tampering. Okay. That's what it's called. Yeah. That's the first thing that came to mind is that it could be very, I guess I didn't give my full thought, but it could be stressful to be a juror in a high profile or serious case like that because, again, I'm going straight out of the movies, but I feel like I've seen movies and I can't think of a specific one, A Time to Kill maybe, or I don't know, where the defendant is, a powerful person who's like, let's get, we have to get in touch with
let's blackmail them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Thank you.
And that
I'm not being very clear.
That would be, so this one has tips for coping after the jury. So I thought maybe based on what you just said, it would be helpful to have tips to cope during the trial.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine being a juror in a case like let's say you were in the O.J. Simpson trial and, you can't like talk to anybody. You're living in I think.
That's right.
You're like living in a hotel room. You can't like communicate.
They cut you off from, well, these days it would be social media and internet. I don't know what it was, from talking to your friends, family, colleagues about the case or news in general. Like,
right.
And I guess like, how do they monitor that? They try to keep you closed off from all outside sources as much as possible. I'm sure things get through, but still, yeah.
That'd be stressful.
Yeah.
And I don't think you get paid much. What is it, like $25 a day or something to be?
I don't know because I've never done it.
Me either. I've never been asked to.
I don't know if
I feel offended by that.
Oh.
I've never even gotten I've never even gotten like what do you get, a letter in the mail?
Yeah. Do you vote? Are you registered to vote?
Yeah.
Maybe not in this state, but that still wouldn't explain.
That's true.
Previously.
I was in Georgia.
That's
never
weird.
Got asked.
Some people get it a lot. Like Dad's gotten it a lot. Michael's gotten it a fair amount.
I want to be asked.
Yeah. Ultimately, though, I think
it sounds like it could be, in theory, more fun than it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. Most things are.
Yeah. That's true.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. That's good to know. Maybe we'll get do they have a copy of that handbook online that you can view?
Yes, I downloaded it.
Oh, cool. Maybe we'll post a few little snippets of it. Interesting.
Yep. Should I go on to the next one?
Please do.
Okay, so we talked about Continental Airlines because that's the airline Stephanie Murphy was a flight attendant with, correct? Yeah.
Yep.
And I had said, and you answered this, so I had said, is Continental Airlines still around? And I think you knew the answer was no.
I think I just guessed.
Okay.
If I'm being totally honest.
Well, it is no.
Okay.
It stopped operating under its own name in 2012. Continental Airlines became United Airlines.
Oh, really?
Which I actually don't have written there, but
Yeah,
yes,
you do.
it's
You said it says after a merger with United
Oh,
Airlines.
okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, there we go. So Continental Airlines was a large former U.S.-based airline that served North American and overseas destinations via hubs mainly in New York, Cleveland, Ohio, or New York, Cleveland, Ohio, and Houston, Texas, and Guam.
Random.
Yeah. And then it merged with American Airlines after it ceased its operations under its own name in 2012.
United Airlines.
What did I say?
American.
Wow. Okay. After a merger with United Airlines, when it ceased operations under its own name in 2012. And then, of course, because I'm fascinated with plane crashes, I just looked up between the time it was started, 1945, and the time it ceased operating under its own name, 2012, there were 3 crashes with fatalities. So pretty major ones. One was, I think, I don't want to say only 4 fatalities, but compared to like the 40 or the 30 in the other 2. At first, I saw like 7 or 10 or 11 listed under crashes on the Wikipedia site. But then that's just like when things have gone wrong, things have fallen off the plane, malfunction, or even just injuries of ground patrol.
Oh.
So when I looked closer, not that it was that hard, but yeah, there were 3 crashes with significant fatalities between 1945 and 2012.
Interesting. I think you've mentioned that before, but if you haven't, just for listeners, Jenna is respectfully fascinated with plane crashes. And
it's because I like most people, but it's one of my kind of the one top 3 like death fears that stand out in my mind. Everyone's afraid. Yeah.
Well, now I need to know the other 2.
Tornado, house fire, plane crash.
I did not know that.
I've said that to you. I think I probably said it to you. It doesn't matter. No, I don't expect anyone to remember that. Of course, there's a million other scary ways to die.
Spiders.
There's just, yeah, but that's not a death thing.
Okay.
Like, so like Michael's is like middle of the ocean death. Of course, that sounds awful and terrifying. Just the ones that pop up, like
Your primary ones.
My primary ones. I'm not even saying they would be worse than burning alive or what.
Sure.
Yeah.
Any death thing is horrible.
Yeah.
Okay. So tornado, house fire, and
plane crash.
I don't know. I've never actually thought about this. I know what one of mine is for sure. If you could, that's a really big question to ask you to guess on. No.
Oh.
I am fascinated by sharks, but no. Intruder, home invasion.
Okay.
That's my biggest one.
Yeah.
Home invasion. And I'd have to think if I had to come up with 2 others.
I didn't like set out to think it one day.
Right.
I just, over the years, like as a kid, I was very terrified of fires. And I realized as an adult, as I bought my own house and this and that, I always wanted to make sure the fire alarms would work. And then when they started going off at all hours and Michael wanted to take them out, I was like, no, we can't, you know?
Oh yeah.
So
I took
like
mine out.
certain things like that, again, they just stick in the front of my mind.
Okay.
But it also like being burned alive doesn't fascinate me, or being caught. Yeah, I like to watch tornado stuff too, but airplanes the most.
I had another you were saying something and I had a question, but then I asked you what your other 2 death things were. So you were, Jesus Christ, cat.
Huh? Daddy.
You were saying,
you were telling the listeners that if they don't know, I might have said something, but that I'm respectfully very interested.
Oh, that's right.
In plane crashes.
Okay. So what, before we were talking about the scary death things, I was going to say, you are fascinated with plane crashes, and do you know anyone who's been in a plane crash?
Mm-mm.
Nor do I. And this may be insensitive. I don't mean it insensitively, but if any listeners know someone who's been in a plane crash
and want to share.
Yeah, or have experienced a plane crash and survived themselves. I mean, it would be. I'm not super fascinated with plane crashes, but I would be interested to know, and I know you are. So that would be kind of an interesting thing to hear about.
I sure would. And if anyone needs recommendations on things to watch with really stellar as in visually stellar remakings of plane crashes, or even documentaries, they're just fascinating and terrifying.
Yeah.
Reach out to me. I'll tell you.
All right.
Okay. So the next one. We mentioned, why did we mention this? Give me the sense of place on this. I mean, I know it's Albuquerque.
Yeah, I think it was just
it was just a fun fact.
A fun fact, something interesting.
So the American International Rattlesnake Museum, and I think you basically said what it was. It's in Old Town Albuquerque, and this museum houses the world's largest collection of different species of live rattlesnakes and other snakes, by the way.
But that's a big distinction, because when I told this fact, we
weren't sure if they were live or not.
So you said like taxidermied snakes, and I said, yeah, probably. So I didn't know that.
They're live.
Oh,
and
cool.
One review, which I don't have here, but I read some reviews, and one review said not only rattlesnakes, but a bunch of different kind of snakes or species of snakes and spiders.
Oh.
I thought this was interesting. So it's the world's largest collection of different species of live rattlesnakes and other snakes, and aims to correct common reptilian misconceptions.
Oh.
I guess that general people have, which I don't know what those might be.
I think people are generally turned off by reptiles more than other types of
They just assume
creatures.
They're all kind of maybe poisonous or going to harm them.
Or creepy or scary. Yeah. I like snakes. I love reptiles. I have no problem with them. I had iguanas growing up. I like snakes. I mean, I don't want to run into one in the wild, but they don't really bother me. I like tarantulas, those smaller spiders I'm not hugely crazy about, but I still won't kill them.
Yeah, I'd get the shivers with a tarantula. I've seen a handful, but I know logically, and I can recall in those moments, that they're not going to harm me.
They're not dangerous.
I don't want them crawling on me, though.
No, but that is something that maybe people don't know about Arizona. So when I think of tarantulas, I think of like the Home Alone tarantula, or I worked in a pet store in Chicago. Like tarantulas are pets. No. Tarantulas are in the wild here.
Oh yeah, I've seen a handful, and most recently, I think, well, not that recent, but maybe 5 years ago, on Dad's garage, I saw 2 crawling up.
Oh.
Yeah.
I remember Mom called me when she was alive. She called me one day and said, I mean, I don't know why I had to say that.
I was going to say, did she call you from the dead?
She called me when she was alive, and she said, I had the worst night last night. And I was like, oh, why? What happened? And she said, I woke up in the middle of the night to get a glass of milk, and Zoe, her cat, was staring at the wall, and I looked at the wall, and there was a giant tarantula on there, and I was like, oh my God, what'd you do? She said, I took my sandal and I smashed it. I was like, Mom,
ew,
that's terrible.
I
would never.
I don't like to kill insects. Also, sometimes you got to do what you got to do if you got to go back to bed.
I would sleep on the couch and close my bedroom door and put a towel under it until the next day, and I could usher it outside. Are you kidding me? Killing that?
I'm just saying that was too big of an insect to kill.
Yeah, it's like a crime scene. Oh my God.
It also could have been in the dark. It could have been, and these aren't poisonous or harmful either, but Scorpion? They jump. No, she's seen those. I've seen those, but a wolf spider. They're big and furry, not quite as big. They're lighter color.
We have those in Georgia.
They bounce. They jump.
They're very big. No, I would never kill a tarantula. It's so mean. I was so mad at her. Ugh. Anyways, okay.
So I'm just copied and pasted one review from TripAdvisor from a year ago, March of 22, from a woman named Valaya. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And she says it's a wonderful place to visit. The snakes are live ones, in case you were wondering, which I guess we were. There's a great variety of them. And I thought this was really important because I don't really like to go to zoos. I have obviously problems with using animals as entertainment. And I don't necessarily think all zoos or animal habitats are using them as entertainment, even though they can be entertaining for humans. I think they can be dual things, like where they're being saved and repopulated. But anyways, it says there's a great variety of the snakes. All of them look healthy and well taken care of, which is nice to see. There's so much more too, such as a large collection of curios. I don't know what that means. The owner is nice and friendly, and I'd highly recommend a visit. Yeah, curios. What does that mean? Like oddities?
A rare, unusual, or intriguing object.
Yeah, oddities. Yeah, so, and I read, that's just one review. I read many, and almost everyone said it was worth the either money or the time it took them to drive there from wherever.
Cool. I'd like to go now.
And it seemed, I don't know if this is weird to say, but it seemed like it was quite a local business. As in, sure, it's in Albuquerque, but, she references the owner is nice and friendly. A lot of the reviews reference the owner and their spouse, as in they're personally
like a family business.
Yeah, thank you. Family business. Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'd like to see it too.
Me too. Okay, so the next one I'm going to read, and it is, we actually cut this out of the episode. So I guess we don't have to do it, but I think it's interesting, so I want to include it. So I think we cut it out of the episode, but there was a quote. I was talking about how, you know what? I think we left it in the episode. You know what I cut out of the episode? Our conversation about it. I think
so. We said the phrase.
I think I said the quote that Stephanie's sister said. She loves to travel. She's as comfortable at home with her 2 cats as she is riding a camel in China. And then we proceeded to be like, camel in China? Like, and is I wonder, really the place?
And
like,
now I wonder,
camels?
Did she actually ride a camel? Well, once you read this,
I don't know.
It's like that'd be interesting if she did, because
I don't know. But either way, I cut out our conversation about that, because sometimes, truthfully, we record these episodes, they end up being 2 hours and we cut them down to 1 hour. So, but Jenna did look up, are there camels in China, and found that there are approximately 600 surviving in China and 450 in Mongolia. The majority of these very shy animals, which makes me want to like hang out with them, live in a place called, I'm going to say it probably wrong, but Gashan Gobi. The Gashan Gobi Desert in China, and in the southwestern area of the Mongolian Gobi. The wild camel has a special place in evolutionary history. There are remnants of herds which crossed from the Arizona desert in North America over the Bering Strait land bridge 3 to 4 million years ago. Wow.
I know. Trust me, I want to look deep. That's like a deeper dive. But I just thought it was so interesting about Arizona and then the Bering Strait desert. And transferred continents, essentially.
Yeah. That's so my brain that it has trouble grasping that concept, but that's really interesting. And then you also have on here double humped even toed. So what does that mean? Like they have even toes on each foot?
Okay, so these wild camels are double humped. So some camels have 1 hump, some have 2, so these have 2. And even toed, I had to look that up. So they're even toed ungulates. So ungulates is just a large, refers to a large mammal with hooves. And so even-toed ungulates bear weight equally on 2 of their 5 toes. And they specify the 3rd and the 4th. There's also odd-toed ungulates, which are like horses or rhinos.
Interesting. I love rhinos.
Yeah, I watched a video of them yesterday. Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Wow, interesting. And this is, I think, important to say. These wild camels are critically endangered species as of 2002.
Yep.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, rhinos are too. I don't know if I know they are based on what I saw last night. But yeah.
What did you watch last? Don't tell me. I don't want to know what you watched last night.
Well, it was lovely. It was actually that Eugene Levy in somewhere in Africa, and he was going to a rhinoceros sanctuary where they a lot of poaching of rhinos.
Yeah.
And so they saved the babies, and then he bottle fed them. They are so cute though. They run up like little tanks and they take their big bottles.
Remind me of Izzy.
Yeah, they're so cute. It's awful.
Super sad. I can't watch stuff. I wish I could, but I can't watch stuff like that. Okay. Well, that was interesting and sad.
This is this lookup list. If I do it,
all over the place here.
All over the place.
All right.
The last one is.
No, I have one more after this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you go. You do this one though.
Wait, which is the one?
The Roswell UFO.
Oh, I don't have that on my thing.
I do.
Oh, so I do my first one. Okay. So you had mentioned a fair amount of weird, wonky laws in New Mexico in general.
Yep.
And so I started kind of researching that, and then I narrowed it down to Albuquerque because that's where the murder takes place with Stephane Murphey. And these are weird laws. And from everything I could tell, and I looked at various sites, they're real.
Okay, let's hear them.
So no spitting in public. So spitting in public is illegal, which, okay. That might be true in a lot of places.
Really?
Well, I think I told you, spit my gum, which I get this wasn't like the smartest thing, but it wasn't the worst, most egregious act ever. I spit my gum on a rooftop bar. I kind of spit it down. Yeah, and that's more than spit. But yeah, they kicked me out of the bar. Not that I got arrested, but...
I remember you telling me that. That seems, I mean, like, so if there's a police officer and I spit on the sidewalk, he's going to arrest me?
Well, think about it. Like,
Mark would be in jail immediately.
Well, like, how many people
spit
out the car window, like hawk a little loogie or something?
Wow.
Yeah. I'm sure that's not like what the police force of Albuquerque is really out for.
Right.
But they could. This is saying they could potentially cite you for it.
Yeah.
It's against the law to trip a horse.
It should be. I agree with that one.
How do you trip a horse?
I'd imagine similarly to how you trip a person. You stick something in front of it when it's like walking quickly.
Or hit their back little knees or whatever.
Yeah. That's mean because a horse can if a horse trips, it can easily break a
leg. Break a leg and then they're done for.
Yeah. I agree with this law. I stand by you, Albuquerque.
Do you also know cow tipping? This is different because cows, when they sleep standing up, apparently, you can tip them over. Uh-huh. It just made me think of that.
I've never done it, but I remember hearing about that in Chicago. There's a fair amount of cows out there.
It's illegal to sing the national or state anthem incorrectly.
Okay.
You can't throw anything onto the field during an athletic event. I bet that
seems reasonable.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah.
This one, I really, it's hard for me to believe it's true.
Okay.
It's really hard for me. And if it is, I really don't like it because also, like, with the expanding outside of a binary of men and women, it's like, also, even if it was just men and women. Anyways, it's illegal for women to have hairy armpits in public.
Yeah.
That's just stupid.
It's stupid. I mean, look, I don't like a hairy armpit. Also, I don't like more laws on women and their bodies than need be. Like, women should be able to have hairy anything. Any person should be able to have hairy anything as long as it's not like growing onto the person next
and touching
to you.
them.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you just pull it back.
Right. Exactly.
Also, like, this is ridiculous. A dumb law in general, but now my brain's like, well, what if they don't have access to a razor? Like, of course.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So stupid. It's illegal to give glue to a child without their parents' consent, which I get it. Glue you can huff it.
It's really going to impact crafts in kindergarten classes.
Yeah, I think now they have that non-toxic glue.
Oh, okay.
So maybe they should have specified that. This is interesting. It's illegal to bet on horse races in Albuquerque, which that's fine. I'm glad. Honestly, I support that because, again, I don't necessarily support animals for entertainment. And also, horse races here in Tucson are going on right now.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. Popular.
And I don't want to think about that. It's illegal to dance with a sombrero on.
It seems really odd. Why?
I don't know. Are they saying like that's cultural appropriation, so you shouldn't do that? But then they should list a million things. Right. It's like maybe I'm just wearing a funny sombrero. I don't know.
Then it would need to say it's illegal to dance with a sombrero on if you're white.
Yeah.
Or black.
Or anything. Or like it's illegal to
well, if you're Latino or Mexican, then what, you're allowed to, or it's still illegal for you? That seems insane. It'd be like I'm Jewish and I can't dance around with a yarmulke on.
Right. Or I'm not Greek, so I can't wear a toga.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
It seems ridiculous.
And then the last one, which I think is like, duh. Illegal for cab drivers to reach out and pull customers in.
So kidnapping?
Right. Like, okay, well, good on you, Albuquerque. You've really like navigated that one.
really made it a safer place for everyone. Horses and people who might get grabbed into a cab.
Jesus, and hairy armpits.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, those are very weird. That was good. You picked out some of the weird. Are those some of the weirdest ones you came across?
Yeah.
Those are very weird. Now I'm really interested to see, like, are there any weird laws in Tucson?
Oh, I'm sure. I know there's like a weird, I can't remember where it is now. Like in Arkansas, let's say. Somewhere, one of the Central America states, it's like illegal to own 4 dildos. You can own 3. You can't own 4.
How would that ever be enforced?
I think it would have to be you are already your home is being searched because you did something else illegal and they just want to tap on another charge.
Well, that's what it feels, the spitting one. It's like you did something and they just really want to up it. Oh, well, he also spit.
Right.
Yeah. That's crazy. Oh, that's my favorite little look up list thing that I think we've had so far. That's really interesting.
It's weird.
So the last one, and I'll be brief about it, but we talked about, I think in the fun facts, I said the Roswell UFO incident is, one of the most widely talked about UFO incidents ever. And that's it. I didn't say anything else. And I was like, that's all I have to say. And you were like, well, that's a fact. And then we just moved on.
Is this connected to Area 51?
I think so. Okay. I believe so. Yes. So the town of Roswell, New Mexico is famous for the alleged UFO incident that occurred in 1947. I think this is exactly what I said in the episode. It has sparked decades of conspiracy theories. It remains a topic of debate among UFOologists, which is a cool word.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I said that, and then we were just like, okay, cool, let's move on. So I wanted to just explain it a little bit more. So the incident centers on the recovery of mundane metallic and rubber debris from a military balloon that crashed near Roswell, New Mexico. Several decades later, conspiracy theories began claiming that the debris was actually from a flying saucer and that the truth had been covered up by the U.S. government. On July 8th, 1947, so I went forward in time, now I'm going back in time. On July 8th, 1947, Roswell Army Airfield issued a press release stating that they had recovered a flying disc. The Army quickly retracted the statement and said instead that the crashed object was a conventional weather balloon. And it wasn't until the late 1970s that there was a lot more discussion around it. I'm going to go back and say that part again. That there was a lot more discussion around it, and conspiracy theories began popping up, claiming that the debris was actually from a flying saucer, and the U.S. government had been covering it up. And also in the late 1970s, retired Lieutenant Colonel Jesse Marcel, in an interview with UFOologist Stanton Friedman, said that he believed the debris he retrieved was extraterrestrial. UFOologist, it's a weird, interesting word to say, began promoting a variety of increasingly elaborate theories, claiming that one or more alien spacecraft had crash landed and that the extraterrestrial occupants had been recovered by the military, and then the military covered them up. So conspiracy theories about this persist even today, and it continues to be a real incident of interest in popular media. I mean,
didn't you just hear about it in like Canada?
Oh, well, yeah, all of that.
The Chinese spy balloon?
Of course. But I mean, Roswell specifically is, like there's even that whole TV show on like the CW or something, Roswell with Sherry Appleby. And it was like,
that's been a while now.
That has been a while. I'm aging myself.
Yes, you are. But either which way, Roswell, whether or not there's new things, I think Roswell will always be known for that because I've never been, but I hear like the main drag is like UFO heavy. It's like kitschy.
It is. There's little alien gift shops and this and that. Yeah, it's really interesting. So today the incident is described as the world's most famous, most exhaustively investigated, and most thoroughly debunked UFO claim. But who knows? I don't know. But I do like Roswell. I think you would really like it. It'd be a fun place to go too. We should do like a little New Mexico tour. We should do
White Sands,
and then Monday's episode is Las Cruces, and then Roswell and Albuquerque. It'd be kind of fun. And That's it. That's all we got. I guess I meant to say this in the beginning. Now I'm hearing people outside, so I'm going to say it now after the fact that we have the front door open because it's a beautiful day. So if you've heard lots of chirping birds, or I think there are some kids skateboarding outside right now, perhaps, we apologize for the background noise, but it was just too nice of a day to keep the door closed. So,
especially after that snow day 2 days ago.
Snow day. Yeah. So that's it. That's it for our lookup list. We will leave you with UFOs and weird Albuquerque laws and say thank you so much for listening. And our episode on Monday will be out on Monday.
And
ooh, I know what I found a saying that I like.
Oh.
So you say you
I don't say it on this one.
No, but on the regular episodes you say
good night and good luck.
Yeah, you said that from the very first time we ever did even a practice episode. And then also I love how you say hug your loved ones.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what I was watching or listening to or something the other day, and I saw something that said keep it creepy, and I liked that. You think
you're
that's
gonna have to fact check that, because I feel like that's someone else's on like Morbid or something.
Morbid, and
it's something creepy, isn't it?
No, Morbid and My Favorite Murder.
Weirdos.
They say something weird, like stay weird and don't get murdered. Stay sexy and don't get murdered, I think is My Favorite Murder. And
I don't like that
Crime
one.
Junkie or Morbid, they say something.
Okay.
We will fact check
creepy.
it. But I don't know. I thought it wasn't on a podcast. I saw it on a t-shirt or something. Keep it creepy. And I liked it. I
like it too.
Because in one of the early episodes you said like, I'm creepy. I like creepy things.
I do.
Yeah.
And weird things.
Yeah.
And also make sure you don't spit in public.
Yeah. If you're in Albuquerque especially.
Probably a lot of places. Also Tucson apparently.
Okay. Well, that's it. Happy Saturday, guys. We will be back and talk to you on Monday.
Night night.
Bye.
Bye.